Well, hello there. My name is Mark Miles, and I love helping trainers, presenters, workshop facilitators really take their results to the next level. And in today's video, I want to actually walk you behind the scenes on a bit of a document that you, as a up and coming trainer or a trainer that's been in the game for a little bit of time, who really wants to take their results to the next level and actually wants to plot their course, so to speak, and they plot their development. I just want to walk you through a document that can really help you be able to do that. And if you want a copy of this document, more than happy to send it through to you. And it's a really great document because what I actually have done through my own research, my own experience, and watching hours, thousands of hours of watching other people present on stage and in workshops and even online events, what I've actually done is I've unpacked what are the basic skills, what are the intermediate skills, and what are the advanced skills that a trainer facilitator may have when they're presenting. Okay, so what I want to do is quickly walk you through the document, and you can check it out and see what you think of it. And if it may be handy for you, you can shoot me an email, maybe put a comment in the comment box and let me know that you like it. More than happy to send it through to you. So let's bring it up and let's see what we've got here. So, as I said, I have compacted it down to basic, intermediate, and advanced skills there. So let's quickly go through each of the components and let's drop into it. So we've got basic skills here. So I've defined this as presentation skills, then we've got engagement, then we've got time management, and all these different things here. So if you take a look here, the first thing is we've got greeting an audience. It's really important that you know how to greet an audience and greet them well. We've got acknowledgement of learners, really thanking them for showing up and being part of the session. We've got effectively using PowerPoint, changing slides. So a basic level person can bring up their PowerPoint and go to the next slide, okay? A basic trainer self intro. They know how to introduce themselves and they're able to do it in a very formulaic way. Slide creation, slide design, they've got some ideas around, good images, bad images, and they've got some very basics around that. They can at least make a slide. Setting up the ground rules, critically important, and they set up the rules of engagement so that everybody plays along and meets the expectations of what is expected in the session. Maybe, ground rules such as show up on time, maybe one person shares at a time, phones on quiet, that kind of information. Next, we've got a why or a reason to listen. Now, what I mean by that is at the basic level can paint out at least one or two reasons why the audience should listen up to them and the benefits they're going to get out of the training. Stated learning outcomes, really, really important. What are the people going to get out of the session? The basic level person, they can use stories, but they may not be at the right time and they occasionally lack intention or they go off on tangents. Okay. Next, they do allocate time for taking questions, but sometimes that question time goes too long, or maybe they're not able to handle questions really, really well. They acknowledge contributions from learners sometimes, but maybe not all the time. They do apologize for mistakes. And what I mean by this is um, at the beginner level, sometimes they do things and they over apologize and they actually make themselves look bad by apologizing too much, right? There's times and time to apologize and there's times not to apologize. Then we've got the next piece, which is narrates next action. This is a beginner thing to do. So a beginner would say, I'm now to click on this, and we're now going to do this. Or I'm now going to write on the whiteboard, and I'm now going to do this, right? Beginners do that, and amateurs narrate. Professionals just get it done and just do the task and make creative flow around the experience. Then we come down, and then we've got teaching skills. So teaching wise, beginners, they're setting up activities, giving instructions. They can do it, but they may not really have conscious intention behind it. They are able to use breakout rooms, but not very successfully, maybe here and there. They only present instructions in one form. They may only say it or they may only write it up. Okay. The debriefing activities, maybe they're doing it, but not very successfully. Setting up ground rules, stream of information, no real structure to it. Overcorrects when a student makes a mistake. There's a big no-no, and it's a beginner thing to do. Okay, so we're going to come down engagement tactics. They using questions to the group. Maybe they're okay to do it, but maybe they're using a lot of open questions as opposed to a lot of leading questions. All right, open and closed questions to the audience. You really need to have conscious awareness around what questions are you using and how strategic are you. Face to face, they have limited pair work activities. So professionals know how to bring in group activities, know how to bring in pair work. They tell random stories with no intent, as I've mentioned already. Breakout rooms, but lack confidence using breakout rooms. Occasionally tells people how to respond, but sometimes forget to tell people. What we mean by this is if you're presenting in an online environment, you have to tell people how you want them to respond. So that would be, all right, if you have been to Paris, raise your hand. All right. If you've been to Paris, type yes in the chat box. That would be an example of telling how to respond. But amateurs would just say, all right, who's been to Paris? Okay. And then people are like, oh, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say. Okay. So beginners will use the whiteboard only in an online environment or even in a face-to-face environment. They don't use the flip chart. They only use the whiteboard. All right, coming down, we've got videos. Okay, so a beginner will use a video with no intent. All right, they'll just randomly show a video. Technology skills, they can use PowerPoint effectively and change slides. They can use a projector. They can play videos from YouTube. Great work. Okay. Online, bringing up slides and shifting between screens, they're still getting their head around that. Time management, generally they stick to time, but occasionally go over time. They call breaks according to the schedule, not according to what's actually going on in the room. Okay. So overall professionalism is on time and organized with all materials. That's basic stuff. Okay. So then we come down, and as I said, I'm the author of this program here. So then let's come up and let's have a chat about an intermediate person and what they're kind of bringing to the party here. So an intermediate person, they use students' names regularly. They do start to deploy the use of the rule of three. Okay, so if they're presenting something, they're going to start to use the rule of three. And if you're not sure what that is, go ahead, definitely Google that and find out what that is. With them, what's in it for me? They very much speak to what's in it for the audience and consistently raise that, speak to that, and remind people what's in it for the training and what's in it for them. So we got the format structure in here. If you're not sure what format is, go and definitely do your research. But it's really speaking in the structure of why, what, how, what if. Why, what, how, what if. And this is a structure that is really powerful. And when you get even better at it over time, you're really able to take boring content, bland content, and really make it come alive through the use of this structure here. Stated learning outcomes in the SMART formula. So by the end of the session, you will be able to do X, Y, Z within 30 minutes or within 40 minutes. All right. Take questions effectively. Very, very important skill. And I've done another video on how to take questions well. But beginners or average presenters will answer the question on face value. Intermediate and advanced people will go, okay, cool. What's the question behind the question that really needs addressing or that's created the question? Next, tells people when to ask questions. The intermediate person will definitely do that. A beginner will not even address like when to ask questions and will fumble through it. Sets ground rules, absolutely, and they do it successfully and gets people to write the ground rules down. Okay. Next, coming down, we've got the teaching skills. They scaffold content really well. The content is scaffolded, all right? And they do it in a way that people don't get confused. So scaffolding is the process of making it a little bit harder, a little bit harder, a little bit harder, a little bit harder each time, but never pushing people too far past their learning zone and making sure that everybody feels comfortable as they go into activities, and they just make it a little bit harder, a little bit harder, a little bit harder. And the structure is so crystal clear for the learners and even for the trainer themselves. Information is well chunked. What we mean by this is groups of 3 or groups of 5 bits of information or 10 bits of information, but it's never over chunked. Okay, great trainers chunk well. Keeps everybody at the same pace. They're very good at making sure that nobody is getting left behind. They did a conclusion at the end of the session and key points, right? They really reinforce what do we want the audience to walk away and remember. Coming down, we've got the engagement tactics. Online, they're very good at using the chat box. all right? They can really get people involved and get people responding. Good use of activities, and various activities are used, right? So there's mix and match, there's list activities, there's case studies, there's different things going on, and there's such a variety of them. They tell appropriate stories, all right? There's a little bit more structure to the story, there's a little bit more intent and timing to the story. Using open and closed questions at the right time and being strategic about when to use what type of question, and knowing that if you want a particular response, you're going to ask a particular type of question. They vary their pitch and tone, all right? And they create emotional engagement by their tonality alone, right? And that's in the face-to-face environment and in the online environment. They vary their pace. So sometimes it's fast, sometimes it's slow, could be any pace that would be relevant and match to the urgency of the information you're presenting. They use both the whiteboard and the flip chart. So an intermediate person, they're aware that both tools have their right place and the right purpose. So they're very good at, okay, this time I'm using the whiteboard because of XYZ reason. I'm using the flip chart now for this reason. Okay. And they're conscious around that. Then you come down, you got videos. They use videos and debrief them in a general fashion. Okay. And they are at least showing videos that have value, and they set them up and they debrief them well. Okay. Well, they debrief them in a general sense. The advanced person, they are the ones that really deconstruct the videos successfully. Coming down, we've got technology skills. They can use breakout rooms effectively. They're a master at them. They can move people around. They can set them up. They've got great timing around them. Okay. They can use the whiteboard in Zoom really effectively. They can draw on it. They can write on it. And they can really make the whiteboard their tool and make it work really well. They can use a projector successfully, that's face-to-face and also online. What I mean by that is, as they're going along showing their PowerPoint, they can actually turn the screen off when they want to. Okay, that's a great tool and technique. They can use the on-off button, as I said. Time management. They stick to the time limit and they use their time to their advantage. Okay, and they're adaptable to time. They monitor time in multiple ways. What I mean by that is maybe they've got their watch, maybe they've got an iPad, maybe they've got another stopwatch, maybe they've got the clock on their laptop. All right, so they monitor time in multiple different ways, so they always know where they're at and what time it is. They call a couple of extra breaks occasionally. All right. So extra breaks, critically important so that you monitor and manage people's energy levels in a training room. And calling extra breaks is a great way to be able to do that. And having energizer things or things that can keep the energy high in the room. Coming down, we got overall professionalism. They're on time and they have the materials ready and have rehearsed. Okay? They're generally good at managing the group. However, occasionally they may be too direct. Okay. Cool. So now let's head to the advanced area, the one that you guys really want to know about, which is the advanced area. And wherever you are on this scale or this platform is totally fine. It's just an indicator of where you can get to. So advanced presentation skills, they greet audience and acknowledge them in a warm and empathetic way that instantly connects with them and creates a really powerful positive impression. And as you know, folks, you've only got 21 seconds to make that positive impression. Then we've got rapport. Rapport is strong throughout, not just a little bit, but really deep rapport. Next, we've got a use of hypnotic language. Example, because, as, or not yet, but in a moment, or awareness of the blue tree. And that's just a concept that comes from NLP that basically we say you can't think about what you don't want to think about without thinking about it. So you wouldn't say to an audience, don't be late, because the audience member is just going to think, okay, be late. Or don't forget your book. I'm going to forget my book. Or don't look at page 15, because what do people do? They end up looking at page 15. So having conscious awareness around stating things in the positive is so important. Accusation audit, if you're not sure what that is, check out my favorite book of all time, Never Split the Difference, all right? And I might have even done another video on accusation audits. If I haven't, I'll make sure that I definitely make one. But accusation audits, one of the greatest tools you'll ever come across as a workshop facilitator or trainer. Really, really powerful. Uses format and is flexible in its delivery, okay? Yes, format's got an amazing structure to it, And there's different ways that we can add things into it to make it really powerful and not getting too stuck on the wording. But format, there's so many different ways that you can build the why, build the what, build the how, and build the what if section, right? So I definitely recommend that you check out format and get comfortable with using it. Stakes learning outcomes in ways that wow an audience. Wow an audience. Okay. Then we've got the advanced trainer self intro. Now, definitely there's different layers of a self introduction, and the advanced level, you should be really crafting it well so that you can actually teach things as you do your self intro. All right. Critically important, and you want to put in the time to make your self intro wow your audience. Icebreaker is profoundly successful, or yeah, let me cool. Is profoundly successful. What I mean by that is it creates such a glow in the room, such a high vibe. Everyone loves and excited and so positive about being in the room and about learning what they're about to learn. A lot of times people screw up the icebreaker, but advanced people, they're able to come up with icebreakers that are super successful and really get people comfortable with each other and excited to learn. They set the ground rules and they get people excited to follow them. It's not you must follow, you must do because, and no matter what, it's people get excited about following those ground rules. They're good at using open loops and creating curiosity and opening up new possibilities. If you're not sure what an open loop is, highly recommend that you go off and research what's an open loop in communication. Uses stage anchoring. If you're not sure what stage anchoring is, I've got a video on it. More than happy to drop it in the comments box and the summary box there. But stage anchoring, really, really powerful tool. I would recommend that you research it. Uses command tonality at the appropriate times. Something definitely check out. Aware of the four roles of a trainer and uses the right role at the right time. So it's actually instructor, facilitator, coach, and mentor. There's four roles that you're going to step into as a presenter, facilitator, coach, mentor. And you need to be knowing when are you going to drop into the right role at the right time. All right. Being aware of that is an attribute of an advanced presenter trainer. Use the personalities in the room to their advantage. So you've got the pragmatist, activist, reflector, theorist, and you've got many other different personality profiling tools out there. And an advanced person is able to use those personality profile tools to their advantage. Okay. They can inspire change and inspire people to go out and do different through personal stories, music, or other means. Next, we've got successful humor. They're very good at telling jokes, making fun of situations or themselves, and really getting people laughing and laughing a lot. All right. So then we come down teaching skills. They use the PEN principles actively. All right. If you're not sure what the PEN principles are, I would recommend that you go out and check that out. So basically, they're principles of psychology, education, and neurology, and how those principles apply to teaching and facilitating. Scaffolding is present, and no one gets confused. Okay. Utilization uses mistakes, mishaps to their advantage. Uses the rule of three. Very important. Setting up activities effectively and models expected performance before you send people into an activity. All right. Advanced people do that. Amateurs don't even think about it. Uses the tier categories for body language. All right. Advanced people use stage anchoring, gestures well, and they use strategic body language from the tier categories there. They take questions strategically and don't answer the surface question. They answer the question underneath the question. Heavy focus on retention of information and is obsessive about information being remembered. Checks in with students and audience members regularly to make sure they have understanding and remembering what is being taught. They've got a wide variety of review activities that we use to consolidate information taught, okay? And they coach people through mistakes, okay? They don't just give them the answer, they coach them through the mistakes. They put instructions onto the chat box, on the whiteboard, as well as speaking them aloud, and you've given multiple different ways for people to be exposed to the instructions so that nobody is ever lost or confused as what they need to do. Coming down, engagement tactics. They follow the 8-minute rule. All right. If you're not sure what that is, I got a video on it. Activities are short and to the point. Really, really powerful. Uses phrasal anchors. If you're not sure what they are, highly recommend that you go and research what a phrasal anchor is. But basically, it's just an anchor or a phrase that's repeated multiple times that really creates a neural pathway in an audience member. Stories, right time, right type, and well delivered with character development. Okay. Advanced questioning. Would it be a problem if? Would it be the case that? Would you be against? Or would you agree that? Okay. Next, type yes or no into the chat box and using questions strategically and getting people to respond in that chat box. Advanced use of tonality to express emotions and keep people hooked onto the next sentence. Suspense moments are created in some form. There's many different ways that we can build suspense into a training session, but you are starting at this level to build suspense and get people hungry to find out what is the next thing that's coming. Using breakout rooms, varying people up, and the combination of people, different numbers of people together, different people together, and the reasons of why you're sending them people to a breakout room. Engagement, variety of activities and variety of approach, and teach time each time they are initiated. So amateurs are going to have their stock standard activities. Professionals and advanced people are able to think of things on the spot. Suspense moment does a bookend at the end of the session. And what this means is at the end of each session, asking the audience, what's the biggest thing you discovered, realized from that session? What are your biggest takeaways? Okay. Engagement is off the chart and unpredictable. Okay, users flip charts effectively in the face-to-face environment. They can use different colors and they can do reveals at the right times to really create a higher level of engagement, anticipation, and wonder. Get people to type key points into the chat box. All right. So if you want to emphasize key things, you can say engagement. Type the word engagement into the chat box. Okay. Or energy. Type the word energy into the chat box. Could be anything at all, but getting people to respond. Coming down, videos. Their choice of videos is off the chart, amazing, and they use all inspiring videos, right? They use a variety of videos, how-to videos, fault-finding videos, and even comical videos. But the videos are intentional. There is a debrief of videos, and it generates self-reflection and personal insights. Technology skills, they can recover from any technical issues without any major issues or feeling embarrassed. Okay. They use a wide variety of technology, whiteboard, chat box, and is able to smoothly transition between each modality or teaching tool. They turn projector on and off for impact. Time management, and deliberate time utilization to get a strategic outcome. What I mean by this is you don't leave people in an activity for too long. You're aware of what is the optimal peak time for activities, and then you snap it and you bring them back, right? That is conscious awareness around it. A beginner would just put them into an activity and then go, oh, we'll just see what happens. No, advanced person goes, optimal productivity time is about this time, just going to bring them back just before that time. Monitors time in multiple ways, as we've already talked about. And then time management, allocating different time to different activities and control the time experience for others. They create breaks at times when saturation time is about to be reached. All right, just before people are just reaching their peak, that's when a break is called. All right. Coming down, we've got overall professionalism. They can read the audience exceptionally well and can turn situations around effortlessly when things go wrong. Okay. They rely on group cues to manage difficult participants. They have an ability to have contingency plans in place when things go wrong. You know, they model great behavior and they come back from breaks on time. They acknowledge students and everybody is just following the rules. It's just awesome. All right. So on that note, basically what we've done here is we've gone through a beginner. Let me just come back. We've gone through a beginner, gone through an intermediate, and we've gone through an advanced skill set of a great presenter, trainer, workshop facilitator. And there's many other things we can certainly add on a mastery level, and I'm going to leave that for another video. But basically, I just wanted to go through and step you through what are the distinctions? What is a beginner doing compared to an advanced person? An advanced person is definitely a lot more intentional. They have the skills and they're deploying the skills. A beginner is just going, oh, I think I know what I'm doing. I'm turning on my PowerPoint. I'm going through my slides. but I've got limited engagement. An immediate, intermediate, and advanced person, they know that the experience that an audience have is all related back to how well they actually deliver, and the engagement is their responsibility. A beginner would believe that it's the audience's responsibility to be engaged, but at the end of the day, as we all know, it is your responsibility as a trainer to be able to create the magical moments, create the experience. And as we always talk about, training is both an art and a science, both an art and a science. So if you got some value from the video, don't forget to like, comment, share. Let's get this out there. And definitely, if you're wanting a copy of this chart and this diagram, this matrix, whatever you'd like to call it, shoot me a message, put a comment in the chat box there. More than happy to send this out to you, and you can use it as something to map your own performance. And also, if there's other areas that you want to look at and research, check that out as well. All right. And if you want any further clarification on things, send me a message, and more than happy to support you on your journey. Thanks so much for watching, team. Like, comment, subscribe. Let's get this out there. And my name is Mark Miles, and speak to be remembered, not just heard, folks.